Okay, greetings everybody. This is your self-isolation food prep survival guide. I'm Lonnie, and I never thought that I was going to start my YouTube career with a coronavirus video series. Actually, I'm in the creative arts, and I've had friends for several years tell me I should start a YouTube channel. And I was like, it's a lot of work. Who's going to watch? Nobody cares. And so I ended up doing like 15 videos, and I never uploaded any of them. And I've been debating, and people are like, just put them up. And I'm like, I don't know. So anyhow, I was talking to a friend about some things that I did to help make sure that I had the essentials that I need during this time that we're quarantined to make sure that I'm nutritionally balanced. And they said, you got to post it. So okay, I guess this will officially be the first video, and we shall see what happens. I did try to get enough food to last me for at least a month, up to 2 months if possible. So here's some things that I did. Most of us can get a hold of beans and rice and pasta and, boxed goods. The issue is going to be fresh food, and in particular fruits and vegetables. So the first thing that I did was I took all of my greens, because green juice is what I've really been trying to focus on lately, and I put it in the blender with just a little bit of water. And I made essentially a stock or a base, okay? And then I put it in Ziploc bags and threw it in the freezer so that I can thaw it out and add water, one bag at a time. And now I have green juice in the fridge for a week. I put it in the Ziploc bag and I laid it flat so that it would freeze in this shape. That way inside the freezer I can just have them lined up in the freezer so they take up less space and it's very organized, and I can just open the drawer and pull them out. Get your freezer emptied of those things that are wasted space with regard to nutrition. The French fries, the tater tots, they came out. The frozen bread, they came out. Because I can get carbs. We're not in need of carbs. I can boil pasta. What's hard to get is your meat or your fruits and veggies. So the only thing your freezer should have in it is that. I also then decided to buy dehydrated greens. In the event that A, I went to the grocery store and there was no produce there, B, I didn't want to go to the grocery store and didn't feel safe doing it, or C, if I did, I didn't trust my produce to be clean when I got it home, even if I washed it. One website that I personally love is vitacost.com, V-I-T-A-C-O-S-T, I'll put it up there, vitacost.com, but there are others. Let me show you what it looks like. I got this from Sprouts, but you can also order these. This is Amazing Grass Organic Kale Powder. Now this cost like, I can't remember what it cost, but it was like $18, overpriced, okay? However, 1 teaspoon is a serving, and there's 30 servings in here. When you think about, if you take greens and you dehydrate them and you grind them down into a powder, yes, an entire serving of kale will fit into a teaspoon. So they're not unrealistic serving sizes. The website I was telling you about, vitacost.com, I went and got kale powder from that website. And it comes like this. So this is 16 ounces. It was $25 for 16 ounces. However, I have in here, this is 2 teaspoons per serving. Okay, math problem. Remember back in the day when people actually used their brain and didn't rely on calculators? You know what I'm saying? Alright, so math situation. This says there's 113 servings in here. And the other thing I did, like my green juice, I like to do like kale, celery, lemon, apple, all of those fresh things. But if you're worried about getting your fresh produce, that's when you buy your apple juice. It's really sweet and it's really sugary, and I don't like to use apple juice in smoothies at all. I like real apples. But at a time like this, when you don't have the fresh produce to use, that's when you whip out that, because this stuff, I have to tell you, tastes like crap. It is so bad. And I love the flavor of green juice. I can drink green juice without even putting apple in it. I can just drink straight greens and lemon. It's not an issue for me. This is a little hard to take, so this is not going to be like a joyful moment of your morning when you're drinking that. You're just going to have to choke it down. But if the idea is to get the nutrition to keep your body healthy, that's a good way to go. This one is by Frontier Co-op, frontiercoop.com. I think another company that does stuff like this is like Harvest Naturals. But you can buy kale powder, you can buy beet powder. Those are pretty easy to come by, and if you're really resourceful and you have money, you can buy things like cucumber powder, lemon powder, and other powders. Also, you'll notice that those are in light sealed containers. They're not transparent or translucent, they're opaque. That is because any light and also oxygen will oxidize the product. And you're already dealing with something that is dehydrated, so part of its vital life force has been removed. The last thing you want is for it to oxidize on you. You want to preserve as many antioxidants as you can. So we know we get vegetables for their vitamins and minerals, we get them for their antioxidants and their enzymes, and we get them for their roughage. And when you're eating products that are dehydrated, or particularly if things are canned, you're going to maintain most of your vitamins and minerals. That's going to stay, but what you're going to lose are many, if not most, of the antioxidants, and you're going to lose the enzymes because they'll be inactivated when the food is no longer like alive. So take your vitamin C, take your selenium, try to sit out in the sun and get your vitamin D, which helps with the absorption of everything else, and try to do everything you can to get your antioxidants from other sources. Do your own research. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a microbiologist, I'm not a chemist, but there have been some researchers that have discovered that having adequate amounts of zinc in the body also helps stimulate the immune system and can have antiviral effects. So sometimes in these homeopathic therapies, they're doing some sort of a combination of taking lysine and zinc, or lysine, echinacea, and zinc. And the research that I've read about echinacea, because everybody's like, oh, echinacea doesn't work, there's no scientific proof that it works. Well, there have been some studies that have showed that it has, and there have been some studies that show that it hasn't. But in the studies that did show that it had an impact, they weren't taking echinacea in a preventative measure on a regular basis to prevent you from getting sick. After you already got something, when they were supplementing at higher levels with echinacea, it kicked the immune system into more of a state of hyperdrive during that time. So it can augment temporarily the immune system, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not like a long-term thing that the body can sustain. But if you are sick, you know, I'm not saying that these are any type of antidotes for coronavirus at all. I'm just saying general overall health, there are certain supplements that can come in handy, and particularly now when there aren't at this point in time enough test kits out there for everybody, the flu is circulating around and everything else, plus the fear of coronavirus. If you do feel like you're coming down with something, you want to, if you can, try and nip it in the bud. And if you are sick and it's mild enough that you don't feel you need to go to the hospital, trying to stay at home and heal yourself is the name of the game, unless it's so bad you have to go to the hospital. Then what can you do? And I think the only place you can start at that point is nutrition and your stress level. What other tools do you have right now at your disposal? So we, staying home in quarantine, need to focus on our nutrition, and we need to be smart about what we're doing with our food. We need to buy strategically when we do go to the store, and we need to take what we have and spread it out. Like if I was able to go to the store and I could only buy myself 5 bell peppers, am I going to hurry up and eat all 5 bell peppers in the first week because I don't want them to spoil? No, I'm going to space them out so that I get a little bit of that nutrition each day to sustain my body more over time. So I'll take the portion that I need for today, and the rest is going in the freezer, and I dole it out portion by portion. So I literally sat down and I did the math with paper and pen. Yes, I did. And I pulled out all my beans. I piled them up on the counter, and I took an inventory. These are all my grains. These are all my legumes. Okay, when you combine the beans and grains together, you're going to get a complete protein. So if you're on quarantine and meat is at a shortage and you're trying to maximize your nutritional profile, then it would be smart, if you can, to do proper food combining at this time to maximize each meal. So I'm like, okay, beans and rice together, how many do I have? That's how many meals I have. And I'm also saying, let's say my protein needs, I think, are higher than that, and I want protein, if I eat 3 meals a day and I want protein at least 2 meals a day, how many meals is that for a month? Okay, so if there's 30 days in a month and 2 out of 3 meals I need protein, that's 2 meals a day. 30 days times 2, that's 60 meals that I would need protein for 1 month. So do I have 60 servings of protein? I mean, just figure it out. But anyhow, that's what I did. So I don't think I need to talk anymore. I'll do another video about some other food tips that I did to help, strategically assess what you have and get your family through quarantine, and I'll give you some ideas for things that you can order online that would be beneficial. But again, this was just how I handled the veggies, blending it, making a juice stock and putting it in the freezer, and then thawing the bags out one at a time and adding water to it, and then buying dehydrated greens with no expectation that it was going to taste good. But I am the Curiosity Guru. That's my channel, so why not get it started? See you next time.